If you have a smartphone, whether high budget, low budget, whatever kind, you should make sure that that smartphone is fetching you money. And one of the ways it can fetch you money is through what? Videography, content creation. That said, in this video, I'll be teaching you the best smartphone camera settings for professional video. Most of you are not aware that your phone is a very big camera. The way smartphone technology is going now, very soon these cameras will start competing with those cinematic cameras in Hollywood and big movie industries. I mean, even now, people have started shooting movies with their smartphones. Some of you have big phones, those iPhone users, Samsung users, but you don't even know how to, optimize and utilize that camera properly. You just, open the camera app and then you start shooting. Fear no more. In this video, I will teach you every camera setting you need to get those Hollywood standard video. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, the phone I'm with here is the Xiaomi 11 Ultra. I'm with another phone here as well, and this is the Vivo V27. So I will be using these two phones, as this one is more of a flagship phone and this is between mid-range and low budget. So I want to carry everybody in all budget along. No matter that phone you're with, you can maximize it to get the best. Now I have my guy here that will be serving as a holder for my subject. This is a DJI Mic 2. It's a microphone. I hope you can see it properly. So this guy will be my subject and I'll clamp it on this guy here. Okay, we'll start with the Xiaomi 11 Ultra and we'll see how to set the camera to get the best. In this video, we'll be talking about things like shutter, ISO, frames per second, resolution, and aspect ratio. Most of those things you need to know about this smartphone. Come on, you're underusing this guy. I have the option of using the main camera here, and then if I use the main camera, you can see my subject clearly here, and I have little to no settings available. But good thing, most cameras are now coming with pro version in their camera app. For example, this camera now, if I go to the pro version, you can see I'm in pro here. Okay, this is for picture. If I click here, this is for video here. Okay, and you can see that I'm seeing nothing. Like, I need to set this whole thing manually. Now for context, this is light here. There's a light here right now. You can see this is my main light and I can't see because I need to set the ISO. You can see ISO, then you can see the shutter here. You can see white balance and all those stuff here. And then you can see the sound wave going up and down here. Now, if I switch back to the normal video, it's in automatic. I don't need to set those things myself. You can see, so knowing how to set these things gives you the best, settings, especially when you are doing a professional job or you want to use your phone to shoot things like maybe a movie or a commercial or even YouTube videos. So if I go to Pro here, the first thing you want to start with is your ISO. Obviously, increasing the ISO, increases the light entering the camera, and too much of it, you can see we're having noise in the video because too much of ISO will give you noise. Okay, so I'll take it down. Now I'll work with the shutter, increasing the shutter to 1/50 depending on the frame rate you are shooting. Now if you are shooting at 30 frames per second, because most phones shoot at 30, 60, 120 and so on and so forth. For cameras shoot at 30, 60, 120 as well. But if you're in Europe, outside America, your camera will be shooting at 25, 50 and 100. It was designed like that. And then for this particular phone now, I am shooting at 30 frames per second. So I need to actually put this at 60. The rule of thumb is to put your shutter 1/2 times your frames per second. So if I'm shooting at 30, that means my shutter should be 1/60. Okay, so we are getting there. Then as for this ISO here, I will increase it a bit because you can see that it's no longer as noisy as the first time because the ISO can now compensate. So what is a shutter? A shutter is a mechanical or electronic device that controls the amount of time light needs to hit that your sensor when it wants to capture an image or a video. Whereas ISO, on the other hand, measures the sensitivity of your sensor to light. So the higher the ISO number, the more sensitive your sensor is to light. The lesser the ISO number, the less sensitive it is to light. Too much of ISO tends to make your video noisy. It will have noise. Another thing to know about is your focus. Your focus. You can see focus here. We can take it to automatic. You see, it switches to automatic. It tends to focus here and there. There are times where automatic is usable. Yes, you can use automatic, but because we are doing things manually, we have to set it ourselves. So I will use manual focus here. If I take it to the extreme here, you can see that it's no longer focusing on our subject. But if I bring it down like this, you can see that cinematic feel. This is on purpose. This is intentional. So I didn't just flip out my camera and start shooting. I had to set it myself. So if I record this now, you see how it looks. If I zoom in here, you can see that the subject starts blurring because the focus is manual. So I'll have to still adjust this. Now, you don't adjust as you are moving. You have to be intentional. If you want to shoot from this point, focus at this point and then start recording. Okay, if I want to shoot from somewhere here now, you can see it's blurry. I need to slide this my focal bar here now and then get the desired focal point. But the background blur has reduced because the distance has increased. So if I go closer, the background blurriness will increase and I'll get the subject in focus. Now, if you use phones like Samsung and iPhone that has the option to, switch lenses, you can equally come here and switch your lens. You can see I can use ultra wide lens here. I will need to readjust those whole settings because the three lenses are different. I have the option to also choose telephoto lens here to go 5 times. You can see this one is the zoom lens, of course. So I also need to readjust, but there is no need for zoom here. Okay, so I'll just use a wide lens as usual. The setting remains. Okay, other things that you can look out for here is your resolution and frames per second. Like I said, I was shooting at 30 FPS here. That's why I had to choose 1/60 here. Okay, so my resolution is 4K and I have 720, 1080, 4K and 8K available. Depending on what is available to your phone, you can use it. Now, resolution is the amount of pixels, or otherwise known as tiny dots, your camera captures, to determine its detail. We have 1920 by 1080, that is width and height. It is determined by width and height. If I say this is 1920 by 1080, I'm shooting at width is 1920, height is 1080, which we otherwise know as full HD. Okay, then we have 1280 by 720, which is otherwise known as HD. We equally have 4K, which is 3840 by 2160. We have 8K and so on and so forth. So you shouldn't even bother yourself with resolution. Most times, if you have good lighting, I believe your camera can capture good detail. Frames per second in a layman's language is just the amount of frames or picture that makes up 1 second of your video. See it this way. If I should press record on the camera now, if I open my camera up and press record, that recording of what you call video is motion picture. It was called motion picture before. It means that my camera is capturing hundreds of pictures within seconds. So if I have 30 of those pictures in 1 second, we have 30 frames per second. If I have 60 of those pictures in 1 second, we have 60 frames per second. So imagine how many frames we'll have in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 1 hour. So I believe you get the idea now. So another important thing that you can utilize while shooting with Pro here is these grid lines here. Grid lines tend to help you, position your subject in a particular position. We call it composition in videography. So if I should on these grid lines, it can help me maybe if I want to focus my subject, which is this guy. Now, okay, let me adjust the focal length. Actually, I want to maintain this particular focus. Then I want my subject to be somewhere here. This grid line can guide me. Can you see? Okay. So if I want to put it by the left hand side, I'm intentional about it. If I want to put it at the center here, I'm intentional about it. Okay. Other things you can make use of here is things like focus picking. Focus picking helps you, get your subject in focus. It tells you if your subject is actually properly in focus. For example, if I change this focus here, if I bring it down, you can see that the subject is no longer highlighted in red. But if I keep pushing, the more red I have on that subject, the more I know that yes, it is actually in focus. So if I should turn off this focus picking and shoot, you see that the subject is properly focused. Likewise, if I turn it back on and move forward, and then let me adjust this focus here, you can see there's a lot of picking on the subject here. So if I put it off, you can see that subject is properly in focus. If I shoot this, it looks cinematic, right? Other things you can play around in Pro mode is white balance. You can as well try different conditions depending on the environment and time you are shooting. Okay, now it's time for me to use the Vivo V27. Like I said, this is more of a low budget smartphone, between low budget and mid-range. So this is to accommodate those with low budget, that no matter the phone you have in your hand, it does not limit you. If I jump into the camera app here, you can clearly see that we are in video. This is photo mode. Okay, this is video. If I go to more, you can see other important tools here. So if I go to Pro mode here, this particular camera Pro mode is limited to picture only. You can see this. So, but we still have the option to set the white balance, the shutter, the ISO, and so on. Okay, we can equally adjust all this manually, like I said before in the other one. Now, you want to shoot video in a phone that does not have Pro mode for video. Very easy. Third-party apps. This is where they come in. Speaking of third-party apps, some of the best I have used is Filmic Pro and ProTake. For this particular phone, we will be using ProTake. Okay, so this is ProTake app. I'm in ProTake, and here you can see a lot of settings, a lot of features we do not have in the normal video camera. Okay, so if you check this, you can see the resolution. You can come here to set your resolution. For this phone, I can shoot up to 4K as well. Some phones are capped at 1080. Whichever resolution your phone is capped at, no problem. So let's say I shoot at 1080 here, and here you can select your frames per second. Remember when I told you that most Android phones in the camera app shoot 30, 60, 120. With professional apps like this, third-party apps like this, you can shoot 24 frames per second or even 25 frames per second. Some convert it anyways. That is why here you are seeing converted. Okay, so let's say I choose 24, or let's shoot at 30. If I'm shooting at 30 frames per second, you will notice that I'm still lacking some things here. This video is still in auto, so just click here to switch to Pro. Okay, at Pro mode, we now have the power to adjust our shutter, ISO, and so on. Of course, for the ISO, you can see this. Okay, you can adjust the ISO manually here, and then for exposure, we can put it at auto exposure to lock it at automatic, and then we don't need to adjust ISO and shutter ourselves. But if I toggle this off, I have the option to now adjust my ISO and shutter manually. So if I do this, somewhere here is okay, and then the shutter, because I'm shooting at 30 frames per second, like I said earlier, shutter should be 1/2 times the frame rate. That should be 1/60. Okay, this is 1/60. By the way, if you need a link to the app, I will leave it in the description below. At my right here, you can see the zoom and focus button. To focus here, just click on focus, then adjust your focus manually. You can see the focus adjusting. Okay, okay, so if I go closer, I'll get a desired focus. The idea is you want to focus on the object and blur the background. Okay, you can see this is what I wanted to achieve. This is good. Then you can equally use your zoom here to zoom in into your subject. while maintaining that same focus. You can see this, okay? And the good thing is your zoom here will not make your video, lose focus. You can see this. In as much as I'm zooming in, my video is still neat. This is one of the best apps, like I said, that I've used. Now, can you see that the limitation is not from your phone? No matter the amount you bought that phone, some people will say, my phone camera is not sharp. My phone camera is, forget about it. You can use that phone to shoot something decent, provided you have the knowledge. And sometimes some camera lenses are, of course, of lower quality, but with the right amount of light, you still get the same quality that somebody that used iPhone to shoot is getting. I don't know if I'm making sense. So that's it for today. If you found this video informative, please click the subscribe button. Subscribe, press the like button so that the algorithm can take this video to other people that want to see it. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that whenever we upload contents like this, you'll be notified. I'll see you in my next video.